What's up, YouTube? It's another day with the one and only Billy J. And we are on episode 10 of 13 Reasons Why. And this tape is for Sherry. You remember Sherry, the good-looking cheerleader chick that was macking out with Clay, and she was hoping that he wouldn't get to her tape and think that she was a bad person. Oh my god, did Clay cause a wreck on his bike? You know he's pretty reckless on that thing. He visits an intersection and flashes back to him being questioned by police. We're back for episode 2 of Jessica's party, and this is the second story for the party. And we begin with Clay leaving the party all bummed out for some reason, and his boy Jeff is there to intercept him and try to bring him back to the party. Apparently things didn't go all too well with Hannah up in the bedroom, and he's bummed out about that, and Jeff tells him to just give her a few minutes and give it a second try. But Clay, being Clay, just says, I'm done with it, I'm a loser for life, and he leaves. Also to note, Jeff is going for a beer run, and he wanted Clay to go with him, but Clay obviously declined and left, and he tells Clay that he's good to go because he only had 2 beers like 2 hours ago. So keep that in mind. Jeff is being blocked in by Sherry, so he goes in the house and asks her to, move her car so that he can get out and get more booze. Sherry is glad to move her car because she's got to head home anyway, and she sees Hannah just sitting there despondent at the piano, playing the piano, like just jamming some keys. And Hannah is obviously not looking too good after just throwing up, and so Sherry offers her a ride home. Such a good friend, Sherry. But on the way home, Sherry is driving, and she's good to go. She didn't have much to drink, but she's rummaging through her purse for her phone or a phone charger for Hannah, and she's distracted and she crashes into a stop sign, obviously knocking down the stop sign. Afraid of the consequences by calling the cops, as Hannah suggested, Sherry is like, I'm leaving, peace out girl, and she books it, just leaving poor Hannah on the side of the road. Clay, I guess, is nearby on a bench somewhere. He hears screeching tires and a car crash, and he goes off to investigate. And apparently what had happened was Hannah left the scene to go to the liquor store to call the police since her phone wasn't working. So she goes into the liquor store and uses the clerk's phone to call the police, and when she calls 911, she's like, oh, somebody else called. And so Hannah's kind of confused and wants to know if it was Sherry, but they don't divulge the information, so Hannah's kind of relieved. But as it turns out, like I said, unbeknownst to Hannah, it was an actual wreck, and that's why someone called 911. Ryan apparently joins the Legion of Doom for lunch one day, and he starts dropping a truth bomb.
Hey, why are we defending Bryce? Can someone tell me that? He's a fucking rapist.
Jesus, would you keep your voice down?
I published a poem, He's a Rapist.
And the Legion of Doom discusses whether or not the tapes should be released. And Courtney keeps spouting off the narrative that Hannah is lying. And I just love Ryan's response.
Really, Courtney, that's still your position? Hannah's lying? Come out, little girl.
Clay is, of course, suspended from school, so he can't be on school grounds. So he decides to just wear his hoodie with his hood up and hope nobody recognizes him. And he asks to talk to Sherry. And so they meet up at the stadium. And apparently the person that died in the accident was Jeff, and he was apparently drunk. So was he lying to Clay? And Clay wants Sherry to confess her crimes, and she's like, no, I can't do that, but I'm trying to make amends. And so she tells Clay to come somewhere after school, and she's going to show him that she's trying to make amends. So after the tragic death of Jeff, The school decides to put up, no drinking and driving posters all over school. Sort of like after Hannah's suicide, they put up these anti-suicide posters. Hannah comes crying to Clay about the accident, and Clay kind of blows up in her face.
I need to tell you.
What are you crying about? You barely even knew him.
No. Clay, you don't understand.
I do understand. Every drama has to be your drama or it doesn't count. And somehow this is all about you. It's incredible.
No, Clay!
Hannah, please just don't, okay?
Then Hannah goes and confronts Sherry and says that, hey, we need to tell somebody about what happened. And Sherry tells her to keep her mouth shut and maybe they shouldn't talk to each other for a while. Damn, Courtney said the same thing. Poor Hannah, she has a lot on her shoulders. She obviously witnessed Jessica being raped by Bryce, and if that's not heavy enough, yeah, she was involved in the accident that caused Jeff's accident and untimely death. And both of these things could have had totally different outcomes had Hannah done something differently. Obviously, if Hannah got out of the closet and started attacking Bryce, and also at the accident scene, she could have stayed there until the next car came up and then stopped them and then used their phone to call 911. All this weighed heavily on Hannah, and she went off to the auditorium to sit and think about things. And apparently this auditorium has this like single light on the stage that's always on. Apparently Jessica is in the mood for some loving from Justin, and they go off to the stage where they have this light and they're kind of like a little bit off stage and they're making out. And Justin suggests that they turn off the light so that they can't be seen. So he's looking for a light switch for the thing, and then Jessica finds like a canister full of like nails or something, and she starts throwing them at Justin and the light to bust it. And they start getting into an argument about Jessica's downward spiral with her drinking and being out of control. And he just leaves her and really pisses her off. Finally, my boy Tyler comes out of the woodwork and he comes up to Sherry because he saw her talking to Clay. And since he's being shunned out by the rest of the Legion of Doom, he wants to team up with Sherry to talk to Clay about the tapes. Also out of the woodwork off of his suspension is Monty, and he sees Tyler talking to Sherry and he doesn't like it, so he grabs up Tyler and shoves him against the wall and threatens to beat his ass and tells him to leave Sherry alone. But my boy Alex comes to the rescue and tells Monty to leave him alone. Jessica and Bryce are hanging out in the parking lot trying to get high, and Jessica suggests that they leave school and go back to her place since no one will be home for days. Before the trial, there's like a preliminary hearing where the lawyers and the parents meet up and talk, and apparently the school is trying to make this go away, and they offer the Bakers a settlement. So the offer the school is putting on the table is a non-disclosure agreement, which basically says that the parents can't say, what they won and the results, and then they'll get $200,000, and the school will institute a better suicide prevention program the following year. After this meeting, the moms have an impromptu showdown in the bathroom. It didn't get physical, but it did get emotional. And luckily, Clay did confess to his mom that he did know Hannah. Otherwise, she would have been blindsided by Hannah's mom telling her that, she knows Clay and he's been to her house and this and that. Apparently, after the accident, Clay ran off to inform the wife of the old guy that he was in an accident and he was going to be okay. And apparently for redemption, Sherry decided to volunteer at their house to help him since he's still kind of disabled from the accident, so she helps them around the house and walk their dogs and whatever else they need. Clay kind of pressures Sherry to go tell Jeff's parents about what happened. And she says that she will in time when she's ready, and it's her secret to tell. Back at Jessica's place, they apparently had some weed, and they probably were drinking as well. And she goes into her dad's office where he has a gun safe. And she knows the combo, and so she puts it in and pulls out a Glock 19, which according to her is perfect for self-defense. And all these guns kind of freak out Bryce. Apparently, he's not a gun guy. And I honestly thought that she was going to do something with the gun, like obviously not just, show him how to use the gun, but I thought she was going to point it at him and shoot him or threaten him because she was remembering what happened that night at the party. Clay decides to go off to Jeff's parents' house on his own, and he tells them that he was the one that called 911. And he tells them that he doesn't believe it was Jeff's drunk driving that caused the accident, but it was the stop sign being mowed down. But I'm sure the parents got the actual toxicology reports to determine whether or not he was drinking and driving, and not just assume he was drinking and driving because there's booze all over the place. And Sherry wasn't the only one scared to tell Jeff's parents, but Hannah as well. She is too scared to even speak to his parents about what happened. And how come Clay lied to Tony about never being to a crime scene before? He was obviously at one at this accident. And finally, the next tape is going to be Clay's tape. And Clay is freaking out, and he asks Tony, "Did I kill Hannah Baker?" And Tony just bluntly says, "Oh shit, what did Clay do?" Hopefully Clay didn't rape Hannah. I don't think he would have. He's too good of a guy, and he wouldn't have left the party all bummed out. And I don't understand how the stop sign being down necessarily caused an accident, because both vehicles involved were from people from the town, and it was like at a three-way intersection where the sign was knocked down and you had to stop because there's a wall in front of you. And both parties were from the town, so they would know that, hey, normally there's a stop sign here, so they would have stopped. Or at least seen the stop sign was on the ground. But I'm so sad that Clay's boy Jeff is dead. He always had the best intentions for Clay. Leave a comment down below, and remember, peace, love, unity, respect. Peace out, guys.